So, ladies and gentlemen, second episode of the day, practice and injury report update from the Buffalo Bills as they gear up to face off against the New England Patriots. Fun fact, directly after this episode, you are going to be redirected over to the AFC East roundtable where myself, TD Finstock, Colby, and then a special guest in Connor. He's filling in for Richie as he is in Los Angeles for the NFC West roundtable event. We're going to be unpacking not only how bad the Jets and the Patriots were this previous Monday, but also previewing the Bills and the Patriots and the Jets and the Miami Dolphins matchups coming as well. As many of you guys know, please do me a favor. Hit that thumbs up sign. It's the easiest way to show love over here on the show. And then also roll call in the chat. Let me know, where are you tuning in from? What corner of the globe are you tapping in from? And please do us a favor, let me know. I'm talking to the lurkers as well. Anybody that is lurking on the other side that doesn't participate that much in the chat, where are you tuning in from? I need to go ahead and give a giant shout out to our proud partners, and that just so happens to be Sleeper. Folks, Sleeper is hands down the number one player prop platform on the market today. Love cooking up some parlays on Sleeper picks. They're matching 100% of your first deposit all the way up to $100. Simply pick 2 to 6 players, predict correctly if they're going above or below their projected stat line, and you could be a big winner. Terms and conditions apply, obviously. And then shout out to Sleeper for being a proud partner of today's show. Folks, the first thing I wanted to talk about today was the injury report and various other tidbits we got from practice. I think the most important thing is the injury report, which looks a hell of a lot better than what we have been anticipating. Let me share my screen real fast, and we'll start off with this as a nice little visual. Moving on, let me see where everyone's tuning in from, man. Let's talk about this. Oh, man, we got Nashville, Tennessee is in the building. Go Bills from Chicago. Nova Scotia, Canada is in the building. New Jersey, go Bills. What's up, my guy? Atlanta, Georgia. Max, I hope all is well, man. Hamden, Connecticut is in the building. Sweden, go Bills. Chattanooga, 716. Michael, I hope all is well with you, my friend. Queens, New York. Carl, what's going on, my guy? Portugal is in the building. Cecil, I hope all is well. London, UK. Connecticut is in the building. W7 London. Jack, what's going on, man? We got a question coming in. What happens to the cool beginning entrance video commercial? Joshua G. Well, let me tell you what. A commercial does not do me any favors for the algorithm on replays. So I had to stop the intro commercial and just start yapping about football immediately. That's what I had to do. The sacrifices we make here as content creators. Damn, Dan, you went live right when my fiance and I are going to practice our first dance. Watching this later. First off, so happy for you that you have found love, my friend. And I can't wait to hear about the wedding, man. That is awesome. Don't step on our feet, man. I have faith in you. Go Bills from Hamburg, New York. King J, 1981. Dart Knights from Atlanta. Oh, man, we got my boy. He's all about that Jackson Dart train. I may be as well. Cuba, New York is in the building. Rochester, New York. Oklahoma City, Wyoming, Inglewood, California. Michigan, 989. Andrew, Kingston, 613. Man, we are worldwide around here. We really, really are. But guys, thank you so much for joining this impromptu afternoon episode. I feel like that there were a lot of tidbits that came out of practice today. Obviously, the injury report. We have a brand new punter in the building as well. So I kind of wanted to unpack everything we learned from Sean McDermott's press conference and then also starting off with the injury report. What is good, at least seemingly, is this Buffalo Bills team, the 3 main players that were out last week against the New Orleans Saints were limited in practice today. Matt Milano with a pectoral was a limited participant. Ed Oliver with his more than likely high ankle sprain, he was limited. Now, our good friend Thigh Doctor does not believe that he is on pace to play. We're going to be watching his analysis / video of his practice and sort of unpack it together here. But he was limited. Spencer Brown with a calf injury was also limited. Some of us kind of had some reservations at Ryan Vandemark at how he ended up playing. right? Like he was getting dog walked by a couple of their defensive linemen, specifically Granderson, who surprisingly enough has 4.5 sacks so far within the league. Hoping Spencer Brown should be okay. Jackson Hawes was limited with an ankle injury, and Dorian Williams with a knee injury did not practice. I got to tell you what, we don't wish injury on anybody, but I think that a lot of us would agree that not somebody that we're worried about, right? A lot of people have been pounding the table that Shaq Thompson needs to completely take over his reps from here on out because Williams is just a liability, dude, right? Like he's not very good in coverage. Second that Shaq Thompson ended up going out there, that's really when everything changed. So that's what we're looking at. It looks like we are moving in the right direction as far as getting some of our key pieces, specifically on the defensive side of the football, back. But we're going to have to see about Ed Oliver. Now, I did mention this a bit earlier. Thigh doctor, right? He's been on the show a couple of times. I wish that I would have thought to reach out to him exclusively to actually have him come on and let us know his thoughts here. But he ended up putting out something that I think we should be taking a look at here. Let me see. Okay. This is his take, and this is a video from Sal Capaccio. Shout out, Sal. Thigh doctor believes I have soured on Ed Oliver for this week, unfortunately. Does not look good pushing off lefts for lateral movements. Okay on linear, though. Also, Sal deleted a video where Ed says that ish hurt like an MF. The Cowboy unlikely to play this week. Now, granted, this is only one opinion, right? I respect Thigh Doctor's opinion, though, very much. A high ankle sprain is no joke. It is very painful. I'm not sure if any of you guys have ever suffered through one of those, but in a very demanding career, such as professional football, a lot of the times, if you want your player to be out there playing pain-free, it's a 4 to 6 week type recovery period. In my opinion, I don't particularly have a lot of respect for the New England Patriots offensive line and pass protection. And so I think that there are a lot of wins that we could get specifically on the tackles. Yes, that's including Will Campbell. I do think that he can get got, although that he has started the season off pretty, I'd say, convincingly. I'm fine with letting Ed chill until after the bye. And to be honest with you, maybe if, for example, we wanted to get him back out there in Atlanta for sure, but no need to rush these guys back. No need to rush these guys back at any given moment. But that's, of course, what Thigh Doctor had to say about the Ed Oliver injury. Sean McDermott ended up speaking a bit to the media right here, and we ended up learning a little bit from what was going through his mind. By the way, Matt Milano right there, he's doing his thing, man. He's looking good. He's looking good. Not that we would really be able to tell much from a video like this, since his titty is the thing that is bothering him. Excuse me, his pectoral. But it's good to see that he's out there at least looking comfortable. Ed, have some more clips from Ed Oliver over here. You know, rivalries helmet too, baby. Look at this. Damn, baby. Look at that, man. That is crispy. That's absolutely crispy. I have my rivalries jersey currently collecting dust in my closet. Absolutely begging to be worn. I'm going to be rocking that. This is probably the weirdest thing about this, and maybe somebody that's younger, of the younger generation, can explain maybe what 6'7" means. Sean McDermott said it. Now, this is peak brain rot, right? I have no idea what 6'7" means, but Coach actually said it. Let me see.
I think these kids these days, maybe they say 6'7". I don't know how that goes, you know. So I'm not really sure what that means either.
Yeah, me neither, Sean. Yeah, me neither, Sean. I have no idea. I'm sure your children say it all the time. 6'7" is a song. Carl Knight has been saying it. Look at this. Quarterback comparison. My God. Colby's been on one. In fact, we're going to be talking to Colby a little bit over on the AFC East Roundtable shortly. And he's going to tell you, hey, man, Drake May is playing just as good as Josh Allen statistically. And I really hope that a lot of you guys had an opportunity of tapping into my preview earlier this morning. We unpacked a strategy on how to attack the Patriots offense, how to attack their defense. And I did give flowers to the young man. He's been doing well. He's been doing very well thus far. But 4 games, has a 74 completion percentage, very similar in pass attempts and pass yards, dead tied right now with passing touchdowns, rushing touchdowns nearly identical. You have Josh Allen with a bit more rush yards and sacked maybe about 50% less than what Drake May has already been putting up, man. Listen, all of these narratives are slowly but surely starting to cook up. Big piece of news right here that I feel that a lot of us may have heard. We're a bit disappointed because we're like, when are you going to activate Maxwell Harrison? Like, when are you going to get this man practicing with the team? When are we going to get a taste of our first round pick? It looks like we're going to have to wait a little longer, folks, because Maxwell Harrison, Tyler Bass, and Tylen Grable are not being activated for their 21-day practice window, making them eligible to return to the roster. I'm not surprised. And so I saw that thick-ass brace on Maxwell Harrison just last week, and I had a gut feeling. I was just like, I'm not going to get my hopes up on here. Ideally, I would have liked to see Max Harrison, like maybe against the Carolina Panthers. Like maybe not getting too greedy. I feel like I would have been okay with 30 to 40% of the snap share, but I don't know. Max Harrison, Tyler Bass, Tylen Grable, while eligible for the 21-day practice window, were not activated. So something there to consider. Now, I'm trying to think what else. We had Dorian Williams, as we've seen. Also, Joey Bosa had a vet rest day. If you see Joey Bosa not participating, don't freak out. He did not get injured. He's just on a vet rest type situation. And I'm trying to think if there was any other update that stood out to me right before I end up transitioning over to the main topic of today. He was basically just giving flowers to Dalton Kincaid. Same thing with Jackson Hawes. And I mean, honestly, Jackson Hawes deserves all the flowers. He really does, man. Like, he has elevated our run game to a place I haven't seen in quite some time. Man, he's such a unit. He's such a prospect, dude. And I think the more and more that he plays and the more that he impresses me, the more I am starting to expect that Dawson Knox is not going to be on this team next year in 2026. At this point, it feels redundant because so far, Hawes has been a better Dawson Knox than Dawson Knox is. And Dalton Kincaid's been playing pretty damn well too. So that's where we're at right now, folks. Let's go on ahead and let's open up to a Q&A segment as we all but seemingly pregame the AFC East Roundtable, which is going to be starting directly after this stream. Once this stream is over on YouTube, you are going to literally be placed over to the AFC East Roundtable, and I hope you decide to stick around a little bit because we're going to be having a damn good time. Guys, as always, in my question answer or my question statement segments, please label them all appropriately with a Q and or an S. If you would like for them to be read, I try to get to as many as humanly possible. I try to show everybody in the chat at least a little bit of love, because what would my channel be without you kind people rocking with me on a daily basis, man? Absolutely love to see it. Cole is saying should have drafted Will Johnson. From my understanding, I know that he's found his way on the injury report as well. And the whole thing about Maxwell Harrison and like why I'm not going to demonize Brandon Beane for this, there was zero history of Maxwell Harrison having any issues with his knee at all. What happened to Maxwell Harrison was a freak accident, right? And Will Johnson fell for a reason, right, folks? A lot of the times, like, we get very enamored with how a player looks like in college and we see his overall production. But there's things going into the draft process that isn't always made public. Through the grapevine of what I have heard that his knee damage that he has suffered throughout college is essentially a ticking time bomb. Meaning that, yeah, you might get 2 or 3 years out of him, but if you're looking for a guy that's going to have a long career in the league, it's not going to happen. From what I understand, Will Johnson has already found his way on the injury report already. Maxwell Harrison, I'm not going to give shit to Bean about this one. It's not like that he ignored a blatant history with knee injuries. Never happened right up until training camp. That's just terrible luck. It's just terrible luck out there, man. You know what I mean? We have a question and an answer. Ooh, we have TV and sleep is coming in. If you had to make a big trade for a player or position before the trade deadline, which player/position do you want? That's interesting because sometimes I have a very hard time giving answers to that, knowing how I feel like this organization is going to react. How Buffalo is going to handle this overall trade deadline, I can tell you their big move is going to be welcoming back the guys that are suspended, like Michael Hoyt, Larry Ogunjobi, hopefully Maxwell Harrison. Hopefully he's good. Right now, we are in a pretty difficult financial situation. I don't see us really bringing in anybody. Some people might say secondary guys, but based off of all of the advanced analytics, if you guys were watching yesterday, where we were unpacking everything to know about this Bills defense on the secondary side of things is top 5 in the league for all statistics that matter. Statistically, we have a top 5 secondary in the NFL. So now I'm kind of thinking, okay, do we need any more secondary help, right? Like, do we need any more? Maybe outside of a couple of depth moves here and there. But as far as success is concerned, you're looking at a top 5 secondary. Like, numbers don't lie, right? CB2 is something. Yeah. Would I prefer to have somebody other than Trey White as our starter? Yeah. Right. But he was signed to be a backup. And unfortunately, we were thrown into a scenario where he was forced to be a starter. Right. And I don't think he's been all that bad. He's been great against the run. Sure, he's getting burned sometimes in specific coverage like situations. Like, dude got burned by Jalen Waddle. Man, a lot of very good corners are getting burned by Jalen Waddle. That's what happens, right? Like when you pin up any cornerback that doesn't run bare minimum of 4.3. Like maybe edge rusher, but who's going to be available at this point, right? I don't think that we'd be able to bring on a Trey Hendrickson type conversation. I think Joey Bosa has been doing very well. I think that he's been getting to the quarterback, and this team's getting pressures. But again, we just don't get to the quarterback. Whether or not that's because the quarterback is taking a millisecond to find his open read, or whether or not so we're going up against a team that like really runs the ball quite a bit. I feel like this Buffalo Bills team has it in them. I do. And then once Ed Oliver gets back, I think that's when we're going to start seeing some real quality pressure, which I'm excited about. Dan, do I rock the new rivalries jersey or the jersey I wore every game, and Bills being 4-0? Maybe a bit superstitious, but if they lose, I will be blaming my jersey choice. I feel like you have to rock the rivalries jersey, right? I'm pretty superstitious when it comes into my clothes as well. But it's funny because that never really crosses my mind unless the Buffalo Bills cross a bridge of uncertainty. If like we drop a couple of games and I'm desperately trying to find the right uniform combo and to make myself feel better. Be like, hell, you know what? Like this Buffalo Bills team's about to go on a run. Like last year, I'm sure you guys remember when my thing was taking my shirt off and to go on ahead and rally the Buffalo Bills into competent and efficient football. Now I've been chilling, man. Like I've been chilling. I've been sitting in like the chair and everything, and I haven't found my new shtick. But for me, I'm going to be wearing my rivalries jersey on stream. I feel like that's the best way we can do it. Do we sign Bosa another year if he stays healthy, hits 8+ sacks? Damn, man. That's a question right there. And I'll be honest with you, Drew. I don't know. I have to see it pan out right before I give you an answer. Would we? Because right now I think that this deal for him is largely a 1-year rental. If he stays healthy, right, his market value is going to be through the absolute roof. Like you're looking at 2-3-year deal. He's still young. He's 29. For a pass rusher, that's still for the most part, I'd say teetering on your prime, like toward the past like 2-3 years of your prime. He'll probably get a bag from somebody. Obviously, if he reaches those numbers and he does stay all healthy, I think he's going to price himself out of Buffalo next year. He is nothing more to me than a Leonard Floyd was to us 2 years ago. I would love if we were able to bring him back. I would love if he gave crazy-ass production. I feel like Buffalo would probably end up going back to the drafts, hoping for the best. Maybe Landon Jackson develops. It's not looking good since he's been a healthy scratch for all 4 games. He'll probably be a healthy scratch again. I don't know, dude. I don't know. Question, do you think McDermott is holding Maxwell till the playoffs? No. I think that his injury was like semi-significant. And I also think that he wants to give him more time to learn the playbook. I don't think that so McDermott is purposely holding a player back because he is utilizing like gamesmanship, right? Like say that a player is going to be a day one contributor, Sean McDermott's going to have that guy out there. He's not going to hide him for whatever, right? Like that's why like when people are just like, "Oh my god, yeah, dude, like we just need to put Joey Bosa on a pitch count." And a lot of people are just like, "Oh my god, like Bosa's been out there a lot." Like it's because when you have very good players, you need to have your best players out there at all times, which is where we're at. Cecil is saying, forget the sacks. Bosa already has 4 forced fumbles in 4 games. Exactly. Exactly, man. Things that need to be discussed more often. It's possible about Maxwell. Always. Can you tell TD sorry for Hill and tell Richie get ready for the Knicks season because the Jets suck? Oh, yeah, dude. He's already bought out. Yeah, he's already bought out on that situation. Sell Matt Milano. We wouldn't even need to sell him because he is a pending free agent next offseason. He will be gone. Hence why I think Buffalo is more than likely going to be targeting a linebacker. I'd say relatively early in the drafts, followed by an interior offensive lineman, I think is probably going to be up there. Maybe an edge rusher. Who knows? Maybe an interior defensive lineman. It just depends. Do you think we bring back Shaq if he balls out and stays healthy? Shaq Thompson, I think that he's probably another 1-year rental. I think Shaq might hang up the cleats after this year. I feel like he still might. All right, we have a question. Do you think Michael Hoyt is going to turn into a good signing? I mean, right now it's all speculation. Last year in LA, he was an absolute freak. He was a utility weapon on the defensive line. Very good player. I thought he looked good in the preseason. So y'all remember that one Bears game we had, which was terrible during the preseason? Yeah, he was one of the few bright spots. He was one of the few that could actually generate pressure. I think Hoyt is really going to unlock this defensive line. I also think he's going to drastically improve our run defense. Right? I also think that Larry Ogunjobi is going to drastically improve our run defense as well. So let's see. Jedi Connor, hello, Dan. I am a Saints fan, but I'm rooting for the Bills to win the Super Bowl. Go Bills. Jedi Connor, I sincerely appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much. Listen, big fan of Kellen Moore, and so I think that he has your organization in the right trajectory. I just hope that you guys can figure it out. We have Reynolds coming in. Realistically, how good can this defense be by the time that the playoffs roll around? Again, so I think it's a lot of speculation, but all we can do right now is just look at where the Buffalo Bills stack up statistically. And stacked up statistically, you are looking at a top 5 secondary as far as pass yards allowed, pass yards per attempts, so opposing quarterback completion percentage. Like we're a good secondary statistically. So now the question becomes, what happens of third down? What happens of red zone? What happens of run defense? And you have heard me say this a million times. Last year, we were 23rd in third down conversion rate for stopping third down conversions. We were toward the bottom in run defense as well. I don't need us to become a top 5 unit in both of those categories. I need us to become 14th, 13th. That's what gets it done. And on paper, right? And it's easy to predict something on paper because we need to figure out what it's going to look like. I think that we're going to be fine. I think we're going to have to be fine. Scott Grant takes the over 50 and a half. Question, could we put Poyer At linebacker. No, I don't think so, man. Question, was Michael Hoyt a starter last year on the Rams? He was like a 40-50% snap sort of guy. Let me see. Knicks 716. Who do you think is on the bubble to get replaced when Hoyt and Ogunjobi, Oliver, and Matt Milano come back? So with Oliver and Milano, were never placed on the IR or the suspension list. So nobody has to be replaced because Oliver and Milano are back. That is a good thing. Hoyt and Ogunjobi. So I think Javon Solomon is probably a name. So I think that he's probably a name that could potentially be gone. Luntz, perhaps. I'm trying to think of another guy. Maybe Dorian Williams, because do keep in mind, right? Sometimes when you're activating a guy from IR to the 53-man roster, you end up taking somebody on the IR and putting them on the IR afterwards. I could see a move like that for Dorian Williams. Like you can go on ahead and sort of trade one of those two onto the IR so you could swap roster spots. But like a player, I think, oh, yeah, and same thing with Brandon Codrington, who was a healthy scratch last week. I feel like that there's quite a bit. I'm excited about the undefeated stream. Damn, look at that. Would Diggs be in the Bills Hall of Fame player? I don't know, Bills Mafia. What do you think? Like, let's put away the bad taste in our mouth left by the wide receiver on how he left the team. Would Stephon Diggs, would his number be retired from the Buffalo Bills? He was on the team for a while, right? He broke some records. He did. I don't know, dude. That's actually a really good question. It's actually a really good question. I don't know. Time will tell, right? My question was just skipped. Ken, sincerest apologies, my friend. Listen, bro, I try and do my best to get to every single question as I can. There are a lot of people that join this stream each and every single day. So I do my best, no disrespect. We can't seem to slow down the run. What can we do to fix that fast? And just hope our players get better, right? like that's really what it is, man. So when you look at how the Buffalo Bills have built their defense, specifically at the linebacker position, very oftentimes you will hear somebody say that our linebackers are undersized. There's a reason for that, because Sean McDermott would much rather take finesse, highly athletic linebackers that excel in coverage. So you're more prone into taking the football away, being able to make athletic plays, creating interceptions. And that is sort of a double-edged sword when you end up building a team like that. Then you're sacrificing sometimes inability in quality tackling. Sometimes you're sacrificing like bad matchups, especially when you go up against some of the bigger backs out there. So I really think it has to do with lack of personnel. Like the Buffalo Bills, as much as I've tried to pound the table before that I want like a big fridge of a human being and to be a one-tech defensive tackle, like I wanted Tavondre Sweat, right? Like dude was like 6'7", like a fridge, dude, like 400 pounds, like was not much of a pass rusher. He was just a run eater. Like this Buffalo Bills team just doesn't like guys like that, right? Walker should be ideal. Like he's been looking very good at his one tech reps. He's looked good at 3-tech too. But I honestly feel that it's sort of a strategy for the Bills. I think the Buffalo Bills, for the most part, don't really have an interest in stopping the run, right? And so I feel like that they are resting in their laurels, knowing that we tend to make turnovers and we hand the ball off to our offense. I'm not saying that that's a good strategy, but I think that's half of the reason why our run defense has always been an Achilles heel, because Buffalo doesn't really prioritize that. And they'd much rather just focus on athleticism in the back seven to create turnovers. That's my best guess right there. Reynolds is saying, realistically, how good can this defense be by the time the playoffs are around? It's a great question. It's a great question. Let me see. Spidey Mun's coming with a great question here. He's saying, you think Miami will take Samuel off of our hands? It's funny that he made his debut last week. Was this a tryout or an audition for the trade deadline? I don't know. Samuel has been a large swing and a miss. And you know what? A hard conversation to have, and perhaps it's way too soon for me to be putting this out there, but Palmer hasn't been looking good. Like, what has Palmer been doing for this team? You know what I mean? It's basically the exact same player. Palmer was the exact same player that Curtis Samuel was. He was somebody that we just had high hopes that he was nowhere near his ceiling, but his ceiling wasn't as high as we thought it was. It's still far too early. We could see a crazy Palmer game coming up within the next couple of weeks, and I could shut right up. But where I'm at right now, I feel like Curtis Samuel reminds me a lot of Joshua Palmer as far as the hype, as far as the, oh, yeah, man, like he was in this offense before. He was not targeted enough. His advanced analytics were crazy. Sometimes you can only go as far as your ceiling or your hype up until you can actually prove it out on the gridiron. So haven't been too impressed with Palmer, but thankfully, right? We have seen Dalton Kincaid take that next step. We've seen Keon play well. We've seen Shakir play well. We have James Cook. I mean, we arguably have the best running back in the NFL right now, which is ideal. But shout out James Goldsmith. What's up, man? How do you think Ryan Vandermark did in his first start? So a couple of bad reps for the guy, right? When he filled in for Spencer Brown last year was far more impressive against a very good pass rush. He was just getting bullied last week. I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm praying that Spencer Brown is back. But I'd probably say he was the weakest offensive lineman out there last week. But then again, like it's not something that should come to a surprise. Fielding a quality offensive line from top to bottom is very difficult. That's why you almost never see offensive linemen on the trade block. Like almost never. So typically when your starter is gone, there is going to be a pretty significant drop off. So I'm hoping Spencer Brown is good. Right now he's limited. So I think all signs are pointing in the right direction. Since Josh has been drafted, has the Bills drafted a wide receiver or a tight end who have gotten over 1,000 receiving yards in a season? Have they drafted a wide receiver or a tight end that has gotten over 1,000 yards receiving in a season? Free agents have gotten over 1,000, but not draftees. We have Bobby Hall is coming in. I think the only players that are targeted a lot is Kincaid and or Shakir for sure. And with everyone tune into the roundtable, it is a great show. The AFC East roundtable is beginning in 6 minutes, folks. Once this stream is over, you are going to be reverted over to it. It's going to be a great show. Yo, what's up, Dan? Chino, what's up with you, man? Hope all is well. What's up, Dan? Go Bills. Cameron? I'm doing great, man. Question, how would you feel if we traded Chris Olave for James Cook? No. Zero, Jedi. Zero, Jedi. You can keep Olave, although that I'm a big Olave guy, but it's tough for me to let go of James Cook right now. Allen got sacked because our bum backup right tackle got beat. That's Ryan Vandermark. Well, they traded a first for Stephon Diggs. We did. And he ultimately ended up getting well over 1,000 yards, I think, each and every single season. And what was impressive was his final year. He was able to crack that while only being utilized for the first half. Well, of course, Ken Dorsey was being a bum out there. And that's it. We have Chig is in here saying, Dan the man, how you feel about Cook having to tote the rock so much early on? He's earning that contract, right, bro? I don't particularly think that this is going to be a trend, right? Right, because you bring up a very interesting point. Cook has almost double the amount of carries as Derrick Henry this year. Cook has 7 carries away from being tied with Saquon Barkley. And those are bell cow numbers. Like, James Cook has been a bell cow for this team. I suppose I'm going to have to wait and see. I need like another 2 to 3 games for me to really say what I'm about to say. But a part of me believes that the reason Cook has had so many carries is because Buffalo has been playing a lot of close games, or we've been behind. Like, perfect example was week 1 against Baltimore, where we needed our best players out on the field, where we really didn't have like a lot of cushion, right? Like, we never really had like a 2-score lead on any given team so far this year, where we could really just pile it on with Ty Johnson and Ray Davis to sort of help preserve the guy. So I think it has more to do with Buffalo being either behind or playing a very tight game, and they just wanted to make sure that their best player was out on the field. I think that's it. But if, for example, we see a scenario where Buffalo is just dominating from top to bottom and we're still seeing this crazy snap share where like he's carrying the ball like 21, 22 times, then I think that tells me that Buffalo is just like, look, Cook, while you were in college, you were on a snap count. While you were in the NFL for your first couple of years, you were in a snap count. Guess what? You got the money. It's time for us to use you. So I don't know. It's early. But my theory is that it's just been because it's been super close, like all season long, you know. RVD was solid in the run game, but his pass blocking could obviously use some work. Dan on the beat is saying, Dan, if I get in an accident with my car, who can I call? That's William Mattar, bro. That's William Mattar. That's what I'm talking about, DA. Come on, man. Cook can rest when the Bills clinch with 2 weeks left and have the bye. I love that. We have Jets, question mark. I mean, what about them, Benny? Your game score for Sunday, Dan Mitchell, Paul Costa, 31-27 Bills. Another close, gritty divisional matchup. All right, folks, that's going to have to do it. But good news. If, for example, you're going to miss me, have no fear. I'm going to be on the AFC East Roundtable. For those of you watching on Facebook, I do know that some of you like to hang out with me over on the book. All right. The AFC East Roundtable is only on YouTube. If you are watching on YouTube, you are going to be redirected to the AFC East Roundtable. And with say that y'all on Facebook want to come and just subscribe over on YouTube, highly recommend you do so. It's under the exact same name. And we have a much more crowded live chat experience for you. So certainly go ahead and lock in. Folks, we appreciate you. I will see you over on the AFC East Roundtable. Let's show these guys what a real fan base is all about. We'll see you soon. Drew's a new member. Thank you, Drew. Appreciate you. See y'all. Peace.